Welcome to Mysteries to Die For and this toe tag. I am TG Wolff and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and producer. This is normally a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. Today is a bonus episode that we call a toe tag. It's a plot-setting excerpt from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, and thriller genre. Today's featured release is Lines of Deception by Steve Anderson. You like the way I changed that intro there? I finally gave up trying to say that we're reading the first chapter because I don't too often. But as soon as I say that, today we are reading the first chapter. So here we are. In Lines of Deception, the chapters don't have chapter titles 1, 2, 3. They're setting and time spaces. So we'll start with the first one. Munich, Tuesday, May 17th, 1949, 12:01 a.m. Max Kaspar learned about his brother Harry from a little man who brought him the severed ear. The nasty fellow even had the gall to bring it into the Cuckoo nightclub, keeping it in a small purple box on his table along the wall. Up on the club's small stage, Max had just finished belting out a recent jump blues hit from the States, Good Rockin' Tonight. Everybody clapping along. He flubbed a couple of lines, but his fellow Germans had no idea, and the Americans were too drunk to care. The little man never clapped along. He just stared at Max. Max used to be fairly certain that a man watching like that was either a talent agent or a producer. But that was before total war, before fire bombings and concentration camps, stranded orphans, souls scarred for life, before his own rehabilitation. As the applause died, Max kept the man in the corner of his eye. Small head on narrow shoulders, an outdated curly greased mustache, and a frenzied glare like Peter Lorre, his eyes bulging, never blinking. Max forced out a grin. "Thank you, folks, meine Damen and Herren," he said in a mix of English and German everyone used to please both occupier and occupied. Then he pulled their young waitress Eva onto the stage. Eva gasped, "Now, Herr Kaspar?" Between them, they embraced, speaking their native German. "You said you wanted a chance, my dear, so now's your shot," Max told her. Eva beamed. Their four-piece band made anyone sound good, since they had a Hepcat GI playing drums and another on piano, a former swing kid from Cologne on the horn, and a steady old cabaret veteran on bass. Ava's dimples, curves, and sweet voice did the rest. She launched into a rousing version of Slow Boat to China, festooned by her thick accent, and the crowd cheered her on. Not bad for a Tuesday. But Max was creating a diversion. He needed to surveil the man, which meant throwing him off. He made for the bar. Then he disappeared into the kitchen and went down into the cellar, passing under the dance floor and the tables above. What could the little man want? He threatened to throw Max's shaky world spinning out of kilter. The day he started, like any other here in Schwabling, that Munich quarter once home to pioneer artists, then to small-handed, fat-headed blowhard named Adolf, and now to free-spending American occupiers. Max had peacetime normalcy, a cozy routine, fresh white bread from his American friends, toasted with real butter and orange marmalade, real coffee. He was finally forgetting what Ertz coffee tastes like, thank God and whoever was responsible. He arrived early at the club like usual, before noon, before anyone, drank another real coffee. He went through the ledgers and checked the earnings stacked in the cellar safe, if only to confirm all truly was well and normal. Then he wandered the Cuckoo, his Cuckoo, wincing at a few dirty ashtrays and beer glasses left out from the previous night. He rolled up his sleeves, emptied the ashes and cleared the glasses, and wiped things down. His staff could do this, but the little chore always gave him something like peace of mind. A part of him was even hoping that Eva would arrive early and see him doing it. He went through his mail, finding the usual inquiries from bands and singers, and bills he had no problem paying now, at last. The occasional letter came from Mutti and Vadi in America, but still nothing from his brother Harry here in Europe. The void of letters, postcards, or even the surprise visit had been growing, swelling, prickling at him low in his gut. Just this morning, Max had gotten that creeping feeling he knew from combat. Things were all too quiet. Down in the cuckoo cellar, Max now felt a shudder deep in his chest, and the normalcy dwindled as a memory, a fog. He opened a bottle of American rye, stood atop the safe, and he thought about taking a shot for courage. Then decided he didn't need it. He needed to move. He came back upstairs on the other side, behind the red curtain at the back of the stage. He eyed the little man closer from the shadows, while Ava gave it all she had. The man was now watching at the bar, craning his compact noodle for any sight of Max. That purple box stood in equal proportion to his short, neat glass of Fernet, to his fresh pack of Chesterfields, to his sterling jeweled lighter, his gnarled knuckles revealing him to be older than the shiny face let on. Why show off, Max thought, when any secure communication would do? This peacock was certainly not CIA. The Munich desk was more likely to send some new kid with a crew cut. Ava was bowing now, the crowd whooping and stomping. As if sensing Max, the man slowly swiveled Max's way, still not blinking. Max rushed out along the wall and sat down next to the man. They waited for the crowd to quiet, silent like two passengers aboard an airliner off to a rocky start. "Good evening, Herr Kaspar," the man said in German. His accent was inscrutable as Max expected. "I enjoyed your routine." "It's not a routine," Max blurted, sounding more annoyed than he wanted. The man smirked, which released a sniffle. "You do not know all the words, yes? Tricky keeping up with these Americans." "What in the devil do you want?" Max asked. His waiter came over, Gerd. Max sent poor Gerd away with a snap of his fingers. The little man lost the smirk. He slid the small purple box over to Max. It was larger than a ring box, smaller than for a necklace. Max pushed open the box with his index finger. He saw one human ear lying on its side, with a neat cut and cleaned up. "Harry Kaspar," the man said. "Perhaps he hears too much." "My brother?" Max's head spun. Everything blurred and he shut his eyes a moment. "Just tell me what you want." "Harry Kaspar is your brother, yes?" The man had said brother like a curse word. Hot pressure filled Max's chest and he wiped away the sweat, instantly sobbing his eyebrows. He grabbed the man by the collar. He could smell the man's toilet water and possibly a bad tooth. "Why, you—" he roared. Now, listen," the man said. "You will find instructions with the ear, which I will leave with you. You deliver the ransom soon? Perhaps the ear can be reattached, yes?" Max had to assume it was Harry's ear. He realized he didn't know what his brother's ear looked like, not exactly, and the thought made his heart squeeze a little. He let go of the man. "Why Harry?" he asked. "I told you, he hears too much, but I suppose it could have been an eye." "Listen to me," Max said. "You don't know who you're playing with. Harry's an American." The man gave the slightest shrug. "Naturalized American, unlike you, still a lowly German." He made a tisk-tisk sound. "But with means now, I see." Max's jaw clenched from loathing. "Who are you? I thought kidnappers were supposed to be anonymous." The man pressed a hand to his chest. "Oh, we're better than the kidnappers, and we're confident that you will comply, because Harry told us that you would pay." "He did? Why?" Max asked. The man smiled. "I don't think he wanted his embassy involved, and certainly not the Soviets." "The Soviets? Hold on. Where did you come from, anyway?" The man gave another slight shrug. He nodded at the box. He scooped up his Chesterfields, the lighter, stood, straightened his black crushed velvet blazer, blinked around the room, and left. Harry smoked Chesterfields, Max recalled, and the thought stiffened his neck with worry. The ear box remained on the table. He pulled it closer, glanced around for privacy, and then opened it again. Tucked up on the lid was a note, typed on a small white square of paper. "Ransom, $1,000 or equivalent. Come alone. No tricks. 9 Lessingas, Vienna. So there you have the first chapter of Lines of Deception by Steve Anderson. So it is a thriller. Max Kaspar is finding a new kind of normal in post-war Munich, Germany. He has his club, he has his customers, and he has his brother's ear in a purple box. Now Max is on a mission to save his younger brother, who is on a mission to save someone the Soviets have and the Americans want. Allies and enemies, no one can be trusted. Bottom line, Lines of Deception is for you if you like seat-of-your-pants thrillers woven into the complicated world of post-World War II Europe. All right, so let's talk about the strengths of this story. The post-World War II setting definitely takes center stage. This isn't a story sort of generically dropped into 1949 or in a single city, but it's actually woven through a variety of cities and countries occupied by multiple of the Allied countries. Miles are crossed on trains and trucks and on foot. The food is lackluster, the PTSD is rampant, and yes, the Lines of Deception has an incredibly rich setting. I found this to be one of the best books that I've read when it comes to integrating setting and it really becoming a fabric and a tapestry for the story itself, rather than just, that kind of generic background where, you could transport this story anywhere and it would work. No, this one works because of where it's set. This is the 4th book in the Kaspar Brothers series. I did not read the first 3. As much as it is a 4th book, the characters of Max and his brother Harry are well-developed characters. Max leads the storytelling in the first half of this one. He stays true to his nature, start to finish. The side characters, good and bad, are well created and easy to keep track of. Max, Harry, and the friends are constantly in danger of being discovered. Said Max drives the story until he reaches his goal of finding Harry. Then that baton of the decision-making is passed over to Harry. Together, Harry and Max do drive the story. If at any point they made different decisions, the story would have ended or would have been a very different story. At the end, looking from back to front, as you all know I love to do, the logic does hold. This is a missing person type thriller, so it doesn't have the elements of switchbacks that are, common in more political thrillers, and that often can be the reason why the logic weakens. This one, once you kind of get to the end and you step away, it is a pretty linear story. I mean, they're looking for somebody. It's not a puzzle to be solved so much as a treasure hunt. I really appreciated at the end of the book that Max and Harry recapped the logic line, which made me a very happy reader. I was happy to see that I both followed the story correctly, but then it was just a really nice summation. So where did the story fall short of ideal? There isn't much to pick on here. Perhaps people who are really into thrillers, who prefer more of the firefights, explosions, and stunts, may find this one a little bit staid. It is set in 1949, and the tone of the thriller is appropriate with the time. I thought it was all set just right. It's more of an intellectual thriller. Like I said, they're in constant danger of being discovered, and so having to sort of outsmart is really what this one's all about. So Lines of Deception was released from Open Road Media Mystery and Thriller and is promoted by Partners in Crime Book Tours, and it's available from Amazon and other online retailers. Links are in the show notes. So allow me to introduce you to our author, Steve Anderson. Steve Anderson is the author of numerous novels, mostly historical thrillers about gutsy underdogs. I would say that is an accurate description of this book. In an earlier life, he earned a MA in history and was a Fulbright Fellow in Germany. Day jobs have included busy waiter, Associated Press rookie, and language instructor. He's also written historical nonfiction and translated best-selling German novels. Lines of Deception is the 4th in his Kaspar Brothers series and can be read as a standalone. I would vouch for that too. I very much read it as a standalone and was very satisfied with it. He is a hopeless soccer addict and lives in his hometown of Portland, Oregon with his wife, Renee. Link to his website is in the show notes. With that, I'll introduce you to Partners in Crime Tours. They represent a network of 300 plus bloggers offering tailor-made virtual book tours and marketing options for crime, mystery, and thriller writers from around the world. Founded in 2011, PICT offers virtual book tour services for well-established and best-selling authors, as well as those of us just starting out our careers. PICT prides itself on its tailored packages for authors with a personal touch from the tour coordinators. For more information, check out their website, partnersInCrimeTours.com, and you guessed it, the link is in the show notes. So join us next week for a regular episode of Season 7, Games People Play. We are into the second half of the season, and the games are only getting more enjoyable. And I hope you come back and join us and see if you can beat the detective to the solution. With that, I'll turn it over to Jack to take us out.